we are really talking to the people that are listening on the online. We have hundreds and hundreds. It gets to thousands of people really online. If anybody wants to subscribe to our channel, we have this shiurim. I'm getting feedback all over. So join us and subscribe and be part of it. Today we want to speak about traveling. People go to trips right after school year ends, which is around the corner, and they book now trips to all different places. And I like to mention that Sugiya, by the way, I just finished writing a whole book about traveling, going on trips, going to travel, 550 different she'elot, questions with all the mareh mekomot. It's going to be published very soon. It's after final editing, Be'ezrat Hashem. So one of the sugiyot is going to places that are risky, dangerous. For example, you're going to places that are that don't like us too much, right? There's anti-Semitism. It's not hard to find in today's day and age. Or you go to trips that are in places that are dangerous. For example, you go hiking in risky places. You go climbing mountains, standing on cliffs, going on water ski, skiing. Not everybody knows how to ski. Some places skiing is very dangerous. Driving at places that are dangerous, going on mountains where it's very, there's a lot of different examples. Can you go to those places? Chachamim tell us in Shabbat, Lamed Bet, it's Gemara, it says, לעולם עלי יעמוד אדם במקום סכנה, לומר שעושים לו נס, שמא אין עושים לו נס. ואם עושים לו נס, מנקים מזכויותיו. There's two things over here. One thing is you're not allowed to go to a place that is risky, that is dangerous. And if you're going and you were fine and you say, you know what? I went, I came back, everything was fine. So I took a risk, all good. You should know that it's not all fine, because menakim lo mizchuyotav, when you come to Shamayim, they clean you out from the merits that you have, whether it is mitzvot, maasim tovim, chesed, whatever it is. So it's a lose-lose situation. You might have been having a good time and you took a nice selfie over there, but not necessarily it was worth the risk, and definitely not the menakim lo mizchuyotav. The Gemara in Brachot says, right in the beginning, in Daf Gimel, Amar Rabbi Yossi, פעם אחת הייתי מהלך בדרך ונכנסתי לחורבה להתפלל. Rabbi Yossi was on the road and he wanted to pray. He didn't want to pray on the road. So therefore he went to a house that is falling down. It's like a not stable house, a חורבה. בא אליהו, זכור לטוב, ושמר לי. Eliyahu came, he had a miracle. Eliyahu came and protected the house, made sure that he's going to be okay, waited for him by the door. When he came out, Eliyahu Navi told him, "Haya lecha להתפלל בדרך." You should have prayed on the road. Don't go into a churba. Why? He says that, Rabbi Yossi says that you learn three things from here. One of the things is that אין מתפללים בחורבה. Why נכנסים לחורבה? Because it's risky. It's dangerous. You can't go to a dangerous place. For the reasons we said before, it's asur. ונשמרתם לכם מאוד לנפשותיכם. There's different isurim that's involved in going to dangerous places. One can ask a question from different ideas that happened to Chachamim that did take a risk. Why did they take a risk? How is that possible? For instance, very known story about Rav Chanina ben Dosa, that one time, the Gemara in Brachot Lamed Gimel says, one time he was told that there's a arod. Arod is a certain creature that was hurting people. It was a dangerous creature, and they told him that where's the hole of that creature, arod? And he said, let me go over there. He went and he put his foot right on top of the opening of the arod, and the arod came out and bit him. Right away, he should have been hurt by it. He should have died. Right away, the arod died. The arod itself died. Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa took the arod on his shoulder and went out to Bet Midrash and told them, you see, lo arod memit, ela achet memit. Very, very known concept, which means it's not about the arod. It's not about the arod. It's about the chet. If a person sins, that's what brings about all bad things. The Maharsha asks the question on the spot over there, how did he take a risk? You're not allowed to put yourself in a risk. You're not allowed to wait for a nest, for a miracle to happen. It's asur. How did he do that? He doesn't have an answer. He leaves it without an answer. The Iyun Yaakov, on the Ein Yaakov, there's a sefer, Iyun Yaakov. He says that Rav Chanina ben Dosa relied on the fact that Klal Yisrael needs him. Since Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, it says in the Gemara, that would eat kav charuvim. Kav charuvim. So the Gemara says over there that because of him, because of Rav Chanina ben Dosa, HaKadosh Baruch Hu feeds the entire world. And Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa would eat only kav charufim. That's what the Gemara says. So because he had zchut harabim, that everybody were eating, were living because of that tzaddik, therefore he was able to take that risk and know he was batuach, he was for sure, he knew for sure that nothing would happen to him. It's impossible because HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not allow such a thing to happen. Kol ha'olam nizon b'zchut Chanina bni, says the Gemara, v'Chanina bni dai lo b'kav charuvim erev Shabbat le'erev Shabbat. That's an amazing thing. Another story of Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa in Chulin, Daf Zayin Amud Bet. The Gemara over there says that there was a witch, a mechashefet, and she wanted to take sand out of Rabbi Chanina under Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, and she was looking for a chance to be able to take some sand, and that would be the way she would do the kishuf. With that, she would damage people, she would hurt people, she would kill people. She wanted to do it with Rav Chanina ben Dosa. When he noticed her, he said to her, "Don't worry, come and take." En od milvado ktiv. The pasuk says, "En od milvado." Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge. Afilu kshafim. So therefore, I'm not worried. You can do whatever you want. We can say the same idea of the Iyun Yaakov, that when a person that is such a tzaddik, like Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, that the entire world relies on him, he knows for sure that nothing would happen to him. There's a different ma'alach in the Nefesh HaChaim, Perek Gimel, in Sha'ar Gimel, Perek Yud Bet, says a different answer. He's going into more Kabbalistic ideas that the whole world, the whole kishufim, everything that happens in the upper worlds operates through Girmei Shamayim, which means constellation, and Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa was avoiding that. He went above everything. So one that wants to see the idea that he says over there, it's a little bit Kabbalistic, he has a different malach. But whatever's nogea to us, we learn from here that if you are like Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, Gesundheit, you can go hiking on high mountains, stand on a cliff, take a selfie, and rely that nothing will happen to you. I don't even know if that's true what I'm saying right now, because Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, whatever he did was to save Am Yisrael. He's not to save people from the Arod. He didn't do that just for fun or for a selfie. But I'm saying at least a person needs to be in such a madriga. But for regular people, the halacha is that you're not allowed to go to risky places. That's pashut, not allowed. So much so that the Yehuda B'Yehuda, in Yoreh De'ah, Yud, yesterday we spoke about the Yehuda B'Yehuda, we'll speak again. The Yehuda B'Yehuda has a famous teshuvah about a person that goes hunting. Are you allowed to go hunting? He says it's asur for many reasons. One reason is because it's not a Maaseh Yehudi, it's Esav. Esav used to be a hunter. Also, by the way, Ishmael was very, very good hunter. Yes, also listim, but also a hunter. He would hunt animals. So he says over there that it's asur mainly because it's dangerous. When a person goes hunting, maybe today it's different, but back then you go to the wilderness, you go to the desert, you go places that you have all kind of wild animals, you're taking a certain risk, and that's not permitted. It's asur. He only says that it is permitted if you're going for work. The only time you can take a risk is if you're going to work. As it says in the pasuk, ki alav hu noseh et nafsho. Rashi says over there, for his job, he gives up his life. Rashi says over there, al mazen ala bakevesh, nitla ba'ilan. Why did he go on a ramp that's dangerous? Why did he go on top of a tree? It's for his parnasah. For a person for parnasah, you see, says the Yehuda B'Yehuda is allowed to go to places that are a little bit risky. But otherwise, for entertainment, definitely one is not permitted to go to such places. One needs to know that it is something that we have to keep in mind. Sefer Hasidim brings interesting concept that we really should understand very well. He says that one is not permitted, one is not allowed to go to places that are dangerous, including going into fights, starting fights, getting involved in fights, getting involved with people that are not so clean. It's asur. And he says over there an extra thing. He says that if one fights with somebody like that, he should know that if something happens to him, he would be charged for that in a shamayim, because a person can't just risk his life. There's a sugiyah in the poskim, if one is allowed to do something to himself, one is allowed to hurt himself, one is allowed to even there's a question in the Gemara in Bava Kama in Perek Shmini, if one is allowed to make an operation on himself, one is allowed to hurt himself. The poskim deal with the question of somebody that doesn't look good. Can he make an operation? Let's say his nose doesn't look too good. He wants to make a nose operation. Can he do that? There's a isur for a person to be chovel be'atzmo. You're not allowed to hurt yourself. You're not allowed to cause yourself any type of damage, and therefore would that be permitted? Lemaise, almost all the poskim permit, because it's not done. The Rambam says, the Igrot Moshe brings from the Rambam, he says that the only time that Chabala is asur is bederech nitza. Nitza means a fighting, or you're doing something in a way of fighting. You're not allowed to hurt yourself if you are angry at yourself, or things like that. A person that starts beating himself up, hurting himself, or hurting somebody else. It's asur to get into fights and hurt somebody else. But if you're doing it for a positive cause, you want to look better, especially a woman in shidduchim. She thinks that she doesn't look too good. So can she make an operation and change the way she looks if she's going to look better like that? So the poskim permit, because that's not called chovel be'atzmo. But it is not permitted, says the Sefer Hasidim. Sefer Hasidim is already a kadmon. He says that when one gets into a fight, and if that person hurts him or even kills him, chas v'shalom, he's not going to go to Shamayim and say, I was anus, I did whatever I can, it's not my fault, he did to me. No, you got into a fight, you're at fault. You can't start fights and then hope and pray that everything would be fine. You don't get into fights. That's a concept. And therefore, when one sees a risky situation, the best way is to just run away, get away. You don't need to... my friend used to say, we have a lot what to lose. Those people that fight with us have nothing to lose. They have very little to lose. They end up in jail every Monday and Thursday. For them, it's not a big deal. We have a lot what to lose. We don't need any of that. You just get away from the fight, and that's the best thing. Coming back to our question, where can we go, where we can't go? So definitely one needs to be very careful not to go to places that are risky, places that could be dangerous, and especially if you're going with your family, you don't travel at places that are dangerous. That's including traveling at dangerous times. Like for instance, if you're going at night, if it's raining at night, if you're traveling on places that are very high, like on a mountain, it is very dangerous. Slippery places, things like that are dangerous, especially if you're going with a family or going with other people, putting them in risk. Needs to be very, very careful about where you're going and what you're going. Including with that is what Bender spoke about very much in the last few months, and he's repeating this over and over, is that new electric bikes. What are they called? Scooters. Scooters are very risky, very dangerous. I know so many people, including my son, that fell off the scooter and they need stitches, and it's a problem. There's people that also lost their lives because of those scooters. But even if without that, it's just not worth the But you think that people will go slow, but if you give it to your son, eventually, for you. So I'm just saying, Rabbi Bender said that one should be away from scooters, and I definitely want to emphasize that he's absolutely correct according to the sugya we just learned right now.